Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
Welcome back to the Bob Sullivan Show here on LateSportsRadio.com. I am joined again by Alex Smith of AXSmithSports.com, KellyInVegas.com. Alex, surprise, Yep. You're back. I mean, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I just found out that I had a 2-3 night overall in sports. Couple winners, a couple of losers, so not too bad, not the worst thing in the world, but just the grind of the games. So
you're gonna get the Raiders one though, right?
I did not play the Raiders. I should have played the Raiders. 0-10 team at home, biggest game for them, and there's still a chance they could end up not covering that number, but it looks like they'll probably end up sneaking. It'd be interesting to see if they win. That's going to be huge for Denver, because Denver's right now fighting with Kansas City for that lead in the AFC West. So they've got some issues to deal with. So a loss would help Denver a lot if Oakland can pull that game out and get their first win of the year.
Do you think Denver is in legit trouble?
I wouldn't hit the panic button on them, but they should be concerned. That loss to St. Louis was pretty ugly. The fact that they couldn't get into the red zone at all, when pretty much all of Peyton Manning's targets were getting injured. You had Sanders with that ugly hit. He had the concussion. Tillman was already out. Ball gets hurt. Thomas gets hurt. So, he blamed his offensive line. He said he didn't play well. He said his offensive line wasn't playing well, and that's why they lost. But, he didn't really have anybody to get the ball to at any point. So there's a lot of issues going on with that team. But I don't know. If their defense is going to have to help carry them, and Peyton's going to have to figure something out. But I wouldn't – like I said, I'm not going to hit the panic button on this yet. I won't count this team out. They do seem to have a bit of a Super Bowl hangover, kind of like Seattle. So,
well – most importantly, is Peyton Manning a coward?
No, I wouldn't. I don't think he's a coward. He's getting older, and I think we see that every game. We see him age on the field every game, and as great of a career as he's had, I think just at some point, the body doesn't, the body can only do so much when you're playing a game like football. So. I think we are seeing some decline in his skill, which isn't saying much because he is one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. But his teams, they'll still have some fight in them. They're not going to just go down quietly.
What do you think as far everybody says how the NFL, football is so mental, but in the playoffs, Peyton's the most cerebral quarterback we've ever seen. The guy's like a chess player. But in the playoffs, we don't see that success that we see in the regular season, but we see success from, Brady's, a cerebral quarterback too, but he also has balls, and he also has he'll take chances. You look at Breeze when he won the Super Bowl, he would take chances. It's not, Peyton, he's cerebral, but he doesn't take chances. How much, how overrated, I don't think the mental part of the NFL is overrated. It's the, I guess, not even the clutch. I don't even know what factor it is, but why is Peyton Manning so bad in the playoffs?
I think, like I said, the cerebral aspect of the game, especially when we talk about quarterbacks, I think it has to match up with your coach. You look at Tom Brady. Okay, he has, if you use the chess metaphor, the chess master certainly is Bill Belichick. If you look, you said Drew Brees, Sean Payton and Drew Brees have a real connection. And I feel like, with John Fox now, you had Tony Dungy in Indianapolis, there just wasn't that that connection that you saw with Manning and those coaches as opposed to with Brady and Belichick or Breeze and Peyton. I think that matters a lot. And even you can look down, when you look at the Bears, obviously there's no connection whatsoever now, or it's dwindling between Cutler and Trestman. I think your head coach and quarterback really need to be on the same page as far as like I said, a mental game plan as well as an actual X's and O's game plan.
Well, you look at Peyton, it could be argued, okay, he does so much for, I was always talking about how Caldwell or Dungy would turn over the practice to Peyton on Fridays, and he would do the walkthrough with the team. And Fox, I'm not saying he's a weak presence, but you look at all the coaches, other than really Jim Mora, Peyton Manning really hasn't had a strong presence to tell Peyton no, or Peyton, you're sucking right now. That he had in his first couple of years with Mora. I don't even know what type of coach you put with Peyton to win a second Super Bowl, or a third or a fourth. Who would have been the perfect coach? I guess would probably have been Belichick. If you put him with Belichick probably has 19 Super Bowls right now in 12 years.
Yeah. I mean, and no, you're right. You're right about that. And I feel like maybe if Manning had been with a stronger-minded coach earlier in his career for a longer time, to, like you said, to tell him no and to kind of, not boost up his ego. I feel like being under Dungy, his I wouldn't say ego, because he's not really, I wouldn't say he's full of himself as far as his talents go.
Have you seen those?
Like you said,
seen those Papa John's ads? He's full of himself, all right.
But I mean, it's just that he's always had coaches that would give him the keys to the car, at a moment's notice. And I feel like if he had a coach like a Bill Belichick, or even drawing a blank on what other coaches. I mean, Belichick's the best example of it. But if he had someone like that earlier in his career, he would be able to handle a little more criticism. I mean, it's now it's just like how much I mean, he's his strongest critic, but at the same time, that's not enough if you're really doing that bad. You need to hear it from a higher up for it to really sink in and for you to really make changes, because you're only going to make the changes you think is right when you're the one criticizing yourself the hardest. So I think that has a lot to do with it, and then, I mean, at the same time, as far as just Manning's teams in the playoffs, I mean, he's just run up against hotter teams. Those Patriots teams that beat him were really good teams. Those were really sound teams. So,
you're listening to the Bob Sullivan Show right now here on LateNightSportsRadio.com. If you would like to call in, the number is 585-633-7487. I'm joined again by Alex Smith not of the Kansas City Chiefs. He is playing on Thursday Night Football right now. But Alex B. Smith of AXSmithSports.com. Alex, how often do you get confused with the Alex Smith of the Kansas City Chiefs?
Not too often. We don't look alike at all, pretty much. So, I don't get too confused with him that much, but it's always fun to the play on words. It's always nice to see my name on online or something, but yeah.
you get publicity no matter what it may be, whether it be a game manager or whether you should be back in San Francisco. I mean, there's a lot of things that you get talked about for.
Yeah, it's when you have I have the 8th most common first name and the 2nd most common last name in the world. You end up, I can run my name through Google and come up with 1 billion people. So it's always like I said, a fun thing when you see your name somewhere or hear your name and But.
Okay, so Raiders wise, what has set them back more? Al Davis himself, or Al Davis's death and transferring into the Mark Davis years, which don't seem to be going very well right now. They seem to have their quarterback, but the rest of it, coach hasn't been figured out, GM hasn't been figured out. It seems like a load of garbage, in my opinion. What do you think what's the biggest demise of the Raiders?
I think it was the last years of Al Davis. I mean, we're pretty much just seeing, the remnants of, if he were still alive, everything that's been done is probably the same moves he would have made. So I just think he's kind of almost in the sense of he micromanaged everything in the way of Jerry Jones, except he was a lot worse at it than Jerry Jones, and Jerry Jones isn't really great at the way he controls his Cowboys. But I don't know what it would take now to I mean, they have to leave the family for that franchise to really do something different. They keep talking about the stadium. They're going to move. Are they going to go to, San Antonio? Or are they going to get a new stadium in Oakland? Or are they going to go back to L.A.? There's so much uncertainty with this franchise from top to bottom in every aspect. I mean, the only thing that's not going to change with the Raiders is their uniform colors, but everything else is up for grabs. So, there has to be some kind of consistency and stability with this group, and we're not going to see it anytime soon. It seems like
the Raiders Chiefs. It's like, at least in our lifetimes, it has not been. Neither one of them has been good at the same time. Mm-hmm. Like, it's never been, the division hasn't been won by the Raiders. It's never been a Raiders-Chiefs game at the end of the year to win the division. Like the Cowboys-Eagles or Cowboys-Giants or Giants-Eagles or something like that has been won. Mm-hmm. But as far as, what do you think the best rivalry in the NFL is right now?
The best rivalry in the NFL? I'm a little biased in saying Bears-Packers, but I don't even think that's a great rivalry anymore. I think what constitutes a good rivalry is like if you have back-and-forth battles. That's been very one-sided to the tune of the Green Bay Packers. So, in looking back, I'd have to say Seattle, San Francisco. Those have been very exciting games ever since Seattle jumped to the NFC West, especially in the last 3, 4, 5 years. So I would say that's probably the best rivalry right now in the NFL. New England and Indianapolis would be a close second.
Yeah, well, do you think it's weird, like in the NFL, the rivalries pretty much stay the same, and baseball kind of the same way with Dodgers, Giants will always be a rivalry, Cubs, Cardinals, Red Sox, Yankees. There's never really any, differentiating rivalries. And then you look in the NBA,